everybody. Welcome to the Section 325 podcast.
The second half.
The second half, indeed, which let's get right into the Broncos-Seahawks game. The second half was the best part of the whole game for Seahawks fans.
Seahawks were the only team that adjusted at halftime. So Denver's D, they had Seattle going in the first half. A couple turnovers, a couple safeties.
How hard is it to get a safety in a game, let alone two?
So it was a good first half. I mean, obviously, but yeah, Seattle, they adjusted that second half, and they took it to the run game and stopped our run because Bo Nix flew through for 42 passes. That's not a running offense of Sean Payton.
Well, your guys are averaging 3.5 per game, so I'm surprised they didn't run a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys got in our game plan, and also I think the play calling for Sean Payton was a little bit more too soft for a rookie quarterback. Maybe simple plays.
A lot of short stuff. He tried to do a lot of misdirection, left to right, little rollouts.
And I think he made it simple for a rookie quarterback.
Here's what I noticed about Bo Nix, though. The guy is fluent in his footwork already, and he avoided a lot of sacks.
He only got sacked twice for only 6 yards.
Right.
That's probably him scrambling to the sideline where he should have just threw it away.
He was scrambling, he was shuffling, and he was sliding up in the pocket. You don't see that out of rookies. They usually panic. He didn't panic.
No, not even when you see his preseason games. I mean, that's why he's QB1. He was not in any panic.
They were talking about his arm strength, man. It looks every bit as good as any quarterback I've seen on that field. I've had season tickets for 21 years, and I've seen a lot of quarterbacks play, and there was nothing wrong with his arm at all. So Bo Nix was impressive. I think Broncos have a very bright future, and it might even be this season. And you look at week number 1, it's basically a preseason game for the starters. They're finally playing.
For everyone, because you get that week 1 jitters out. You might be able to adjust it in game. If not, you move on to the next week, and then you go from there, look at film, and you adjust from that.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Eagles. They had 2 turnovers their first 2 possessions, and then they figured it out in game and then ended up winning the game.
Yeah.
But then if you look at Cincinnati, they just blew that game and lost to the Patriots. So, again, I could see Cincinnati bounce backing and winning the next week. But, yeah, that first week of games, you just never know who's going to win.
Let's talk about Deshaun Watson. What's going on there?
I saw a saying, Cleveland Browns is doing the most Cleveland Browns thing by letting go Baker, who had a great game.
Only quarterback to throw 4 touchdowns over the weekend.
Who had a great game, and Deshaun Watson he should have just stayed in the massage parlor.
No, I just saw today there's another assault charge that just came out from 2020 today.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I think his days in Cleveland are coming to an end.
Well, I don't think there's any motivation for him to wanting to play
guaranteed contract.
He has a guaranteed contract. So, I mean, there's no motivation for him.
I also saw a clip where his offensive lineman was on the ground. He reached down to help him up, and the guy turned and wouldn't accept his hand.
Oh.
So maybe there's a little more to the story, we're going to find out. We're going to find out. But they
have a long season. 16 more games for them.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it too late to get Flacco? Is he with somebody?
I don't know. I think he went back to the couch.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I don't know.
Tim Couch?
One of 38 quarterbacks the Cleveland Browns had in the last 20 years.
Well, let's get to our picks. I want to know how bad I beat you.
Yeah, you did get me this week.
It might be the first time. Well, I came on strong at the end of last season. You did.
I think there was a time where I was 0 for 5 in 1 week.
All right, here we go.
Not this week.
Travis put together some big games, some cool games. Obviously, our head-to-head matchup. Chiefs and Ravens kicking off the season. I had the Chiefs. You had the Ravens. We all know what happened there. Yep. That's a check mark for me and an X for you.
Yeah. Hey, It came down to obviously a toe, and Harbaugh. He was pointing at 2 fingers. They were going to go for 2, and They were going to make that too.
You're right. They were going to go for two. And
And I think that they would have easily pounded in with Henry, or they were going to make that 2 point conversion or whatever it was.
well, let's not forget a play or two before that. The
Wide
wide
open.
receiver was wide open,
Yeah.
and he overflew him, threw him by 10 feet.
Yeah.
But this is what I talked about in our last episode: is I don't believe that he can go in and play in big games. And a good quarterback is going to nail that wide open wide receiver between the numbers every time. And I'm sorry, he's not a good quarterback. He's a great athletic quarterback who can make things happen. You got to make sure your defense is ready to play against him.
Yeah.
But as far as just a quarterback, when you're in that situation and you need a touchdown, I realized that he did throw the other one, and that's the other guy's job to get his feet down, which he almost
He
did, but he's a
almost did.
size 15 instead of a 14, and oh well.
Patrick Mahomes said that he needs to wear white shoes.
Ah,
But you know what? Honestly, it's if he was wearing white or black, it doesn't matter. But if he was wearing white shoes, the white shoe would be on the white. There would be no green grass in between
but
the white
maybe it's
line.
not enough to overturn it
Return it
because they
because
did call a
call
touchdown
it.
on the field.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe that guy will wear white shoes for the rest of his career. But I mean, that's a good point. So the Packers and Eagles, I picked the Packers. I really felt that, obviously their quarterback went down with an injury, so who knows? But it. Congratulations to the Eagles. We both took the Packers, so no hurt to
Yeah.
me on that one.
Barkley with 3 touchdowns. That was just basically a slap in your face to the Giants, who had no touchdowns.
The Giants. I actually picked the Giants to win.
You did.
I did in another deal that I'm doing like this, and but oh well. Live and learn. Obviously, the Seahawks won the
Yeah,
game. We had to go with our teams, but Rams and Lions. This turned out to go into overtime, right? Was it
it did.
overtime?
It did
Yeah,
go into
overtime.
overtime Sunday night.
I was driving home from Seattle, so I was trying to keep track of it. But same score as the Seahawks Denver game, 26-20.
Yep.
And the Lions were able to edge the Rams, so we both got that right. And then we both took the Niners, which is smart. And so I got you by one pick.
No,
Two.
two.
Two. Oh gosh, here we go.
Yeah.
So 4-1 and 2-3.
I'm already starting below 500.
It feels good. It
Yeah.
feels good.
Don't worry, I have all season. I
Oh
have
look,
all.
we even circled them, everybody. Our records so far. I gotta take advantage while I can.
Probably the only time you'll be in green.
Yeah. So most impressed team you saw over the weekend, and who was the biggest disappointment?
The biggest disappointment was Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I was shocked that Joe Burrow did not look like the Joe Burrow that we have seen. I don't know if it's because Chase, sure, he's been holding in on his contract, and has he been playing or practicing enough with his team to kind of know what the reps are? Um, so yeah, Cincinnati. It's just they kind of disappointed me this weekend, and a lot of fantasy owners out there, because I know some that have had Joe Burrow in one league and only got him a couple points. But yeah, I mean, I give it to the Patriots. They stuck it in there, and they came into Cincinnati and won. But most impressive, I think the Cowboys. I hate to say it, but the Cowboys had a really good overall as a team, because they got some defensive interceptions, scores, and Dak looked just like your no big numbers that he had. I think he had only 175 passing yards, but as a whole team, I think the Cowboys were the most impressive.
For me, I'm going to go to that game, the Cowboy Cleveland game. But that's going to be my worst. I think Cleveland they should be playing better. They're a playoff team. They should have that excitement from last year. They got a great coach. They've got good defense, and
I mean, and they had Watson back.
Yeah,
but
and to just lay an egg like that and go over 10, that's just pathetic. So that's the biggest disappointment for me is the Cleveland Browns. And the most impressive team for me was the 49ers to not have CMC going into that game and just
Mason
really dominated.
Who knew that Mason off the bench or backup to CMC? Right, I mean, all fantasy. I have CMC in one league, and I took the loss in that league, and because I needed him, then I couldn't drop him to pick up Mason. But
Well, so far the MVP of the league is the San Francisco 49ers offensive line because maybe CMC is just not that good. It's just that line
yeah,
opening up
that's
that
true.
even a white boy can go through the line. Oh, that's just a joke, everybody. Don't get offended. We're having fun here. Anyway, so let's get to your power ranks,
Yes.
Wolf.
Yep. Let's do it. So I have the Packers dropping. They stay in the top 10. I almost wanted to kind of edge them out, but they
Even
played,
without Jordan Love?
yeah, but they played a good game against the Eagles, who is a power team. Um, and they were still a complete team. They
Is this so you could live in the same house with your wife? You're keeping them in the
no
top 10?
no. I mean, next week if they lose, they're
Okay,
out.
just checking. Everybody
They're
doesn't
out.
know Trav's wife is a Packers fan, so maybe this is a homer pick for her. I don't know. But without Jordan Love, they're out of the top 10 in my book. But
Sure. And I looked. There's a lot of other teams I thought about having there at number 10. Steelers is one, but you got to score an offensive touchdown to get in the top 10. That's how I see it.
is Russell really hurt? Why was he in a uniform if he's hurt and can't play?
Yeah, in pads and everything. If you're inactive, you're going to be in your street clothes, or at least your warm up.
I don't
You
know
know?
what is happening in Pittsburgh, but we're going to find out.
Yeah. So
All right, let's go to your next pick. So Packers are down.
Texans come into the top 10. They played a full, complete game, offense, defense, special teams. Yeah, they.
Those Colts and Texans are going to be good teams for the next several years with
Oh
their
yeah.
quarterbacks. That guy's a stud over in
Mm-hmm.
Indianapolis. He was falling down, sliding his feet, and still threw it 70 yards down the field. I'm like, huh? Gee whiz.
So Texans come up.
And the Dolphins, where do they fall here?
No, they went up one.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I think there's only one team from last week that fell out, and that was the Bengals. I had the Bengals at 10.
which is I mean that is a disappointing performance.
Yeah.
Let's be
So
honest.
Texans is the only one that comes up in the rankings. Everyone kind of shifts around depending if they won or lost. So, yeah, Dolphins move up one.
After Tyreek Hill gets arrested, pulled out of his car, handcuffed, and slammed to the ground twice, from what I saw.
Yep.
But I mean,
Police body cam shows
if a cop tells you to roll down your window, why wouldn't you roll down your window?
Oh, so I see it as two things. Like, yeah, I think the cops were a little bit more aggressive as far as wanting him to.
Well, they were over the top.
Oh, I think that over the top. But then again, going to University of Idaho, being in a fraternity, I was always told we had officers that would come to our fraternity and say, "Hey, if we stop you and we know that you're drinking, we just want to make sure that you're getting home safe. So basically, just don't lie to the officers. Be respectful and always apply what they are saying." So if someone's going to tell me an officer going to tell me to roll down my window, I'm going to listen to them. I'm just going to roll down the window. More respect you give to them, the more likely they're just going to give you a warning.
Tyreek looked like he was being a little standoffish and stuff.
He was.
But I want to know what happened with Calais Campbell. I met Calais Campbell in Las Vegas. The guy was the nicest guy at 3:00 in the morning. Not sure what you're out doing that late in the morning, late in the morning. But anyway, super nice guy. We spotted him. We talked to him. He had time to take pictures, answer questions, just hang out. Super nice, gentle giant, Yeah. And I remember I was like, man, I always wanted to meet you because you look so big on TV. And he's like, well, you're not so small yourself. That's what he said. Really nice guy. So I'm like, what happened with him? Because he was a nice guy.
Yeah. Bills, they stay where they're at. They had a little troubles with the Cardinals at the beginning of the game, but they were able to pull through and get the win. So they stay at 7.
There is a guy on NFL Network that picked the Cardinals to win the NFC West.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Peter Schrags.
When I saw the Cardinals were up by like 2 scores, I was like, oh, maybe this guy knows what he's talking about.
Well, and I was actually thinking the same thing. So Cowboys, they come up. I think they were 8 or 9 last week, so they had a good game. Not quite in the top 5 yet. So
yeah, Cowboys are good. Dak looked good. He got his contract, so there's no more of that garbage that people like to talk about. Cowboys moving up the Wolf rankings. Ravens obviously dropping down. I think you had them at 2.
I think I had them at 2. So I didn't want to. I still think again they played a great game. They lost the game by a toe. I didn't want to put them out of the top 5 just because they lost to the Chiefs. So
Well, I mean, they're probably going to beat everybody else. They just can't beat the Chiefs.
Chiefs. Yep.
Yeah. So they moved down. Eagles, they definitely moved up.
They moved up, I think, one spot. I think everyone else just kind of moves up one spot.
That was an impressive victory. Packers are a good team.
Yep.
Lions. Wow. Rams are a good team as well. And,
I heard that Lions is now the worst place to, not worst place, but it's a difficult place to play now. And since it's indoors, it's allowed. Back in the day, Seattle. I mean, Seattle is still tough to win in. You get the 12th man in Seattle. Mile High, you have the altitude. Arrowhead, you have loud crowd. But yeah, now Lions, I'm hearing, is the new place for a tough place to play in.
I'd imagine that it's louder because for years the fans put bags over their heads. You couldn't quite hear them through the bag, but now you can. They're proud to be Lions fans, and for good reason. They have a solid team, a great coach. I love that guy. He just seems like a guy who would make you want to run through a wall, So Lions definitely up, looking good.
Chiefs move up. They had a good win. I mean, they looked like the Chiefs from last year. So
the Chefs, and then the Niners, who was the most impressive team that looked to me.
Yeah.
To have a backup quarterback come in, and but there's a little controversy there. They asked him when he was told he was going to be the starter. He said Friday night. And the coach says he's mistaken. I never even told him he was going to be the starter because they didn't announce that CMC wasn't playing until 45 minutes before the game.
Well, it was like 90 minutes, yeah.
So if they knew Friday night and didn't announce it, they broke some rules.
And
they'll be punished. Yes. So the coach was like, "No, we didn't tell him. We told him he's going to get more playing time, be ready because we're trying to rest CMC a little more."
Well, if CMC did play, I already knew as a fantasy owner, I was anticipating him getting less touches. Like normally he gets 30 touches in a game. I was thinking he was going to get 15, 20.
Well, he definitely got talked to because somebody asked him the same question in the locker room because that was on the field after the game. So in the locker room, he's like, "Look, you guys are twisting my words, and I'm not going to answer that question anymore." So they'll probably get off with just a warning, but it does sound a little fishy. At first, I was like, "What's the big deal?" But then I thought about it. I'm like, "Oh, well, they didn't have time to look at film and prepare for that guy."
Yeah.
So anyway, there's Wolf's power ranks. Got the Niners at number 1. Packers bringing in the list at number 10, and we'll see what happens if your team's not on here. Let us know why they should be, and we'll talk about it on the next show. All right, let's go. Let's make our picks from the bag. This is always fun.
This is back.
Every team has a chance unless you play in Carolina or New York. Then you don't have a chance at all.
Because they are officially eliminated already.
In fact,
from the playoffs.
Can we just pull those two teams out of the bag? I don't even want to waste this.
Well, if you grab them, then
we're not gonna use those 2 teams.
Okay.
Because they're gonna be a loss no matter what.
Okay, I'll go first, and it's the Niners at Vikings.
Ooh, the Vikings look good.
The Vikings, that's Sam another Darnold. Team. Who knew? I think his first 12 passes, he was 12 for 12.
Well, maybe it's the system. I mean, look at Kirk Cousins. He went to Atlanta and.
Well, last year they went through 4 quarterbacks, and still was able to get through a lot of the games. But no, I'm going to pick Niners. They obviously had a great win against a tough defense of Jets. I mean, Jets still have a good defense. But yeah, I think Vikings don't have a chance, even if they are at home. So
yeah, I think it'll be a good game either way, but probably be similar to how the Jets game, because early on it looked like, oh man, it's gonna be a good game, and then it just wasn't. Oh, look who I got. This is tough. Seahawks going into Foxborough to take on the Patriots. New season, new regime for them. No more Bill Belichick. They had a nice little win. I think it was good, but I think Seattle has shown that they travel well, and they've got this defense now. I want to see how they match up against a team that just came off a good victory against Cincinnati. But I'm going to take the Seahawks on the road in this one.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think the
would too.
Patriots have really proved themselves enough that Seattle's proved they're kind of could beat anybody, and they're mediocre, which is good in our league.
Hmm.
Not great, but good. And the Patriots have just kind of been notoriously not very good the last several years. So let's see what happens. But
Yeah, and I think it's just that first week jitters against this, Cincinnati. Cincinnati just dropped an egg, so I
yeah,
think it was the fluke that they won.
well, Burrow's got that blonde hair now, so you didn't know how to play with it.
Yeah. All right, I got the Bears at Houston Texans. Um,
Caleb,
I want to talk about the Bears a little bit. Caleb Williams, sure he won his first game, but did he? Because
a pick
they
six
were
and a
down
block punt for a
they were
touchdown.
down 17-0, and then a block punt return for a touchdown and a pick six got them back in the game. He didn't even throw 100 yards passing. I think he was 50% on his passing. So they that was a great win by the defense and special teams, but they're not going to win in Houston. So I pick Houston.
All right, Texans it
Because
is.
Texans, like I said in my rankings, they played a full, complete game, offense, defense, special teams, and that's why they're number 10.
Buccaneers are going into that Lions den that you were just talking about, how it's a place to be reckoned with. Oh, man. Baker, it just seemed to me last year that Tampa Bay was either really good or they just couldn't quite get over the hump and beat teams. And I think we're going to see the same thing this year. But I think it'll be good enough for Tampa to win the division. But so I'm going to take the Bucks to lose against the Lions. The Lions at home all day long. Let's take the Lions. Go Lions in
Yep.
that one.
Oh, there we go. This one. All right, Saints go into
Ooh,
Cowboys.
Saints put up a 40 burger.
Yeah, but against Carolina, like great offense. I mean, you can't throw or put up 47 points and not say it was a great win. So, but Cowboys, I mean, they still have the same bodies and personnel that they have from last year. So it's hard for me to say Saints can take this win. So I'll go with Cowboys on this one.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
All right, the Falcons, supposed to be the much improved Atlanta Falcons. A lot of you gave me a bunch of crap for not picking them. Win division, they came out and they just lay a goose egg against
The Steelers.
the Steelers. The Steelers didn't even basically do any offense, and they still beat you. So I don't know what you guys are talking about here, Atlanta, but until you beat anybody, let's just not hear from you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm taking the Eagles in this one. Probably going to be a shutout. I'm imagining 24-0 would be my guess. Eagles.
Oh, he's already putting the score up.
Well, just because the Atlanta fans upset me a little bit. Don't act like I know what I'm talking
Hey,
about.
we need all the viewers we can get, so you don't scare them away.
Okay, well, let's take two. Atlanta's going to have a tough game, and I think the Eagles are going to just edge them out in this one.
I got the Jets going into Tennessee.
Ooh, the Titans a little
Yeah,
probably upset because they had that one in the bag.
both these teams had their win in the bag or their game in the bag. Because what Tennessee played against Chicago, they thought they had it. So, and again, New York, they have a great defense. I think they just were not ready for a power team of the Niners. I think Rodgers he just got coming off a year injury from a year ago, so I think it was just a little bit rusty, just to like you said, a preseason game.
Yeah,
It's kind of how it was. So I'm going to go with the Jets taking in the win there in Tennessee.
nice.
So
I think if you speak for Jets fans, what was the most exciting part about this first game? And most people would probably say, "Oh, the return of Aaron Rodgers," but I don't think it was. I think the most exciting part was, "Oh, CMC isn't playing. We have a great chance of winning this game now." I
Yeah,
think that's probably how they viewed it. But that kid who came in
it didn't look
third,
like
I don't even need. Was he? We got like 3 carries last year or something.
something like that.
He was
Yeah,
undrafted.
yeah.
I'm crazy. Wow, those guys have an eye for running
He
backs.
wasn't he wasn't starting for anyone's fantasy league. I know that.
All right, the
Oh,
Steel City taking on your Broncos. This is a when we
this was supposed to be Russell Wilson's homecoming game into Denver.
have we heard
He is not playing.
it again.
Yeah, I heard that this morning. He is not playing unless something changes this week. But I don't know what's up with that calf.
Do you think he wears his uniform again?
You know what? I think he will.
Well, here's the deal. I don't think Justin Fields can do what Geno Smith did, so I'm going to take the Broncos at home on this one. If Justin Fields is starting that game, I'm definitely taking the Broncos. Are you 100%?
Oh, I'm taking
Or are
the
you bamboozling me so I get a
No,
wrong answer?
no. From what I heard, Russell Wilson is not. Actually, I heard it on ESPN. So they were just talking about it. So yeah, Russell's not playing. It will be Fields. He'll take the snaps, and yeah, I have Broncos in that game. Obviously,
The only thing that makes me want to pick the Steelers, and it's one person only, and that is their defensive end, Watt. That guy, gosh, he never stops moving.
So Steelers and Bears, even though they won, they're the two teams that won it this week without an offensive touchdown.
Impressive.
Yeah.
I'm still going to take the Broncos at home.
Yeah, and really, Bo Nix just had the jitters going into week one, the nerves. He didn't really show it, but again, you look at other quarterbacks. Peyton Manning, he threw 3 interceptions his NFL debut. Uh, John Elway, you weren't watching the game, so they pulled up a stat. John Elway was 1 for 8, got benched at halftime in his NFL debut. So you can't always look at the first game and say, "Yep, that's our guy," or "Oh, we're
Sure.
done." So give it some time, but I think Bo Nix will find his rhythm, and same with thing with Sean Payton and his play calling, and they'll win some games.
Yeah.
Some.
Well, I think Denver's going to score some points. I think they're going to get better and better and better. So they'll score a few more points than Atlanta was able to generate. So that's why I'm picking the Broncos over. Plus, I thought Denver's defense looked good.
Mm-hmm.
They look good. They look super
We
big.
held, I
They
mean,
looked big and fast.
in the first half, we held you to 10 points. We got 2 turnovers
And
and 2 safeties.
and
So
Seattle's supposed to have really great receivers. We didn't get much separation. Even that third down play to seal the game, your guy had it covered perfectly. That he had to stab that. Like the hands here, he stabbed it.
yeah,
I don't know how that play
yeah,
worked.
Lockett caught that one-handed. Yeah,
He
that's
drops
right.
that. You guys got a minute 40 on the clock with no
Yep.
timeouts, but minute 40 on the clock.
Yep.
So I'm really glad that he caught it. But anyway, we're gonna pick one more. Is that it?
Let's do one one quick one, because I got to catch up.
Yeah, good luck.
Colts going into Lambeau to play the Packers.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one. Because Colts, they played a great game against Houston. I think they only lost by like a couple points. Packers, without Love, that's kind of hard to say. Because of that, I'm going to go with Colts.
Okay.
Sorry, Jamie.
Yes,
Sleeping on the couch tonight.
already a huge game in the AFC East.
Thursday night.
Buffalo, slow start. Miami, slow start. Maybe it was the arrest of their running back and defensive tackle, but the Bills owned the Dolphins last year, if I'm correct. They won. They swept them.
I think so.
Dolphins are at home
On a Thursday night, so the middle of the day heat is not going to affect the Bills. Just so you know, because Miami has this stadium where in the middle of the day in September, the sun shines on the visitors' sideline, so they are getting torched in the 95-degree weather. and it's not going to affect them too much on the sideline because it'll be on Thursday night. So that's a thought.
Does Josh Allen keep it
Oh
going?
yeah,
I
absolutely.
think he does. I like Josh Allen over the Dolphins. I just don't think the Dolphins are good enough to beat a quality team. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to take the Bills over the
Awesome.
Dolphins.
We got all the primetime games. So we got Thursday night here. We have Sunday night here.
And, Eagles and
Oh no,
Falcons.
Monday night here and Sunday night here.
Oh, Bears and
So
Texans.
we got some good picks here.
All right. Well, that's our picks for this week. Great start to the NFL season. Lots of good games. I was disappointed with last night's game. I just thought
Yeah. I actually at the end I was not disappointed because it ended in a scoregami.
a scoregami.
We got our first scoregami of the year. So
They got to be running out of these, but we keep having them.
I know we keep having them. So we'll be lucky to have 9. I think last year we had I can't remember what the numbers were, but yeah, usually 6 to 7 is usually what you get. But yeah, we're 1-1 with scoregami.
1-1. But anyway,
But
it was a great start to the year. We're really excited. You want to hear about your team? Let us know in the comments. Hit us up. Let us know, and we'll talk a little bit about it, tell our opinion on the team and where they're going.
yeah, let us know.
Anyway, you got anything else?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's about it.
That's about it. Well, this is it. We're going to be covering. We got games coming right back here Thursday and Sunday and Monday. So stay tuned. We'll see you next time. This is the Section 325 show signing out.
Second half.